Welcome to Friday Fuel for October 13th, 2023. Here are some announcements about things that are going on. Sunday morning at 10, stop by for some coffee and snacks before we head to worship at 11. And Sunday evening, come back at 5:30 for Sunday supper brought to us by Michael Malott and Betsy Jewell. And stick around for our rescheduled fall bingo night following supper. This month, we're talking about What Was I Made For? Barbie and the Bible. Join us on Wednesday night at 8:30 for our next installment. And next Friday on Fall Break Day, we won't have Friday Fuel, but we will have our fun trip to the pumpkin patch. So let Betsy know if you want to attend. And mark your calendar for Sunday, November 5th. We will be raking leaves for people in the community shortly after lunch that afternoon. So we hope you can join us for that. And now, here's some fuel for your Friday. This month in worship, we are discussing the Barbie movie and how characters in the Barbie movie can relate to characters in Scripture. And the overall question is one posed by Billie Eilish's song on the soundtrack from that movie called What Was I Made For? And of course, the Bible has a lot of people trying to figure out what they were made for, and that's part of our job too. So on our Friday Fuel videos for the month, I'm trying to find some kind of unusual answers to that question for us to think about. So today I am turning to the book of Ecclesiastes, which I have to admit is not something that I've spent a lot of time with other than, when I studied it in seminary. And I think most of us probably don't spend a ton of time with it because if we're asking the question, what was I made for? The teacher in Ecclesiastes seems to be asking the same question and he doesn't come up with a great answer. You may know that common themes in Ecclesiastes are that everything is pointless, it's all vanity, there's nothing new under the sun, and that's certainly in there, but I want to look at Ecclesiastes 11 and think about how it does give us some direction for what God has made us for, even in the midst of this person's opining that life is really, kind of pointless. So Ecclesiastes 11 says this. I'm going to read the whole chapter. Send your bread out on the water because in the course of time you may find it again. Give a portion to 7 people, even to 8. You don't know what disaster may come upon the land. If clouds fill up, they will empty out rain on the earth. If a tree falls, whether to the south or to the north, wherever it falls, there it will lie. Those who watch the wind blow will never sow, and those who observe the clouds will never reap. Just as you don't understand what the life breath does in the fetus inside a pregnant woman's womb, so you can't understand the work of God who makes everything happen. Scatter your seed in the morning, and in the evening don't be idle, because you don't know which will succeed, this one or that, or whether both will be equally good. Sweet is the light, and it's pleasant for the eyes to see the sun. Even those who live many years should take pleasure in them all. But they should be mindful that there will also be many dark days. Everything that happens is pointless. Rejoice, young person, while you are young. Your heart should make you happy in your prime. Follow your heart's inclinations and whatever your eyes see, but know this: God will call you to account for all of these things. Remove anxiety from your heart, banish pain from your body, because youth and the dawn of life are pointless too. Now, there's a little taste of how much the speaker is saying everything's pointless. But he also seems to be coming to the conclusion that we don't know what the future holds, and so we should be paying attention in the here and now. And I think that that is an important thought for us. Depending on where we are in life, we might be very future focused. It's not bad to be goal oriented, but the writer is reminding us we don't know what the future holds, and so it is important to enjoy today the best that we can, to know that there are good times and there will be bad times. And to remember that God is present in all of it. So while we're trying to figure out what we were made for, we may feel like we are pointless at times. Our existence is pointless. We may feel like we just don't know and we don't understand. And if that's true, we're not alone. Even in the Bible, there's an entire book where someone's saying, I don't know what's going on and I don't know what to do about it. Everything seems pointless. But it's in there because it tells us something about God. That though we don't know what's happening, God knows what's happening. Though we can't understand, there's the verse that says, you don't know how the life breath works in the... It even uses the term fetus. We don't know, well, we know a lot more now about how pregnancy works, but a lot of it was a mystery, right? They didn't know how it worked, just like we don't know what God is doing in the midst of whatever's happening right now. And especially in this day and time when the news can be really bad, and we certainly would want to pray for peace and would hope that people's lives aren't pointlessly taken, and would grieve the fact that some are. We can remember and keep in mind that God is working in the midst of it, though we don't always understand how, and that we are still called to be where we are, to be present where we are, and to see the world around us and find enjoyment where we can and persevere where things are difficult. So even when we don't know what we were made for and we don't understand what's going on in the world around us, God is with us and calling us to continue and persevere and be faithful. So there's some fuel for your Friday from Ecclesiastes, which you may not have ever spent much time studying. If you want to feel sadder, take a look at more of it. But remember that God is with you and that there is good to be found in the present moment, and there is work to be done in the present moment, even when we don't know what the future holds. So I hope that brings you some hope this week. We won't be here next Friday because it's fall break. We'll actually be headed to the pumpkin patch. So I'll see you back here for another Friday Fuel in 2 weeks. Take care. Bye.